the second half of the video, we are going to show you all of the school buildings in Warrington Township. Some of them are no longer used as schools, but still have some function in the township. We are going to start with the oldest and go on to the newest. The first school we will visit is now a gift shop owned by Stuart Ballard and located on Bristol Road between School Lane and Pickertown Road. The building you see was built in 1808, replacing an older school built in 1765. It was first known as the Bristol Road School, later the Warringtonville School, and finally the Warrington School. It continued to operate as a school until 1951. It was closed along with two other schools when Titus Elementary was opened in September 1951. The next school, mentioned earlier, is on the corner of Folly and County Line Roads and was known as the County Line School. It was built at least in the 1840s and continued as a school until 1928, at which time students were sent to the second Mill Creek School. In 1928, it was bought for $2,000 by the Schlechters, who lived in it until the early 1990s. The site was then acquired by Warrington Township. Eventually, it will become the headquarters for the Historic Commission and will be used as a museum to display historical material. On the same property is the historic oak tree, which is more than 250 years old. On Street Road near the Warrington Shopping Center is another former school which was closed in 1925. Like the County Line School, it was probably built in the 1840s and was known as the Street Road School. Records show that in 1848 there were 5 schools in Warrington. When it closed, students were sent to the Neshaminy School, which will be the next one seen on the video. In 1925, it was sold for $2,800 and has been a private residence ever since. It is now owned by Richard and Cynthia Devlin. Located at 2040 Street Road is the building that once was called the Neshaminy School because it was in one of the 4 villages of Warrington Township. The area around Street Road and Easton Road was known as Neshaminy. Built in 1880, it was originally a creamery, a place where dairy farmers could bring their milk and cream to be made into butter and cheese. In 1924, the building was bought by Warrington Township for $7,000 and converted into a school at an additional cost of less than $6,000. When Titus Elementary School was opened in 1951, the Neshaminy School closed. It then became a sign shop, and since 1963, it has been the home of the Bucksmont Unitarian Fellowship Church. St. Joseph's School was first built in the 1920s on the east side of Easton Road, where a real estate office is now located. When the present church was built in 1950, wings were included on either side of the church to house the school. Sometime later, the old school was torn down to make room to build a new convent for the nuns who taught at the school. That convent is now the real estate office. Having outgrown the existing school, another building was constructed in 1961 on Valley Road behind the church. After the new school was erected, the church classrooms continued to be used. In 1974, the school became known as St. Joseph St. Robert's School. Both parishes operate the school jointly. Titus Elementary School opened its doors in September 1951. It was initially called Warrington Elementary School, but the name was soon changed to honor Florence Titus, who was a member of the Warrington Township School Board for many years. Titus was the only public elementary school in Warrington until 1965. In September 2001, the school was awarded a historic plaque by Warrington Township to honor its 50 years of service to the community. Until 1959, students from Warrington in grades 7 through 9 had to attend Lenape Junior High in Doylestown. In that year, Tammany Junior High School was built on Stuckert Road, just off Bristol Road. It was named after an Indian chief of the Delaware tribe. In the spring of 1987, it closed as a junior high and reopened in September as Tammany Elementary School. It continued as an elementary school until the end of December of 1990 when it closed again. After renovations and the addition of an auditorium, Tammany reopened in September of 1991 as a middle school, still serving grades 7 through 9. In the early 1960s, Warrington began to grow rapidly with the development of Palomino Farms. It became necessary to build another elementary school. The John Barclay Elementary School was opened in September of 1965. It was named after the famous Warrington resident mentioned earlier in this video. The school population grew so fast that after several years, a second wing was added to the building. By the late 1990s, St. Joseph Church needed to plan to expand the church so the classrooms attached to the church could no longer be used. In addition, St. Robert Bellarmine Church was in need of an educational facility. In September of 1999, the St. Robert Annex was opened. Still called St. Joseph St. Robert's School, the annex accommodates grades 5 through 8 from both parishes, while the lower grades remain in the 1961 building on Valley Road. St. Robert Annex is also used for religion classes for public school children and for other parish activities. The newest school building in the township is the Mill Creek Elementary School, located on Bellflower Boulevard. It is actually the third school to bear that name, the first two having been mentioned earlier in this video. The school opened in September of 2000 and is built to accommodate 1,100 students. At the same time, Central Bucks School District opened another elementary school in Plumstead Township. That school also carries the name of an old school no longer in existence, Groveland Elementary School. This concludes the video about historic sites and schools of Warrington Township. We hope that this has provided you with some new knowledge of the history of your home community. We invite you to travel around the township and try to locate some of the places you have seen on this video. More information about historic sites in the township can be obtained by contacting the Historic Commission in care of the Warrington Township Municipal Building.